Well, I don't know if you were listening this morning. It was quite the explosive interview Cliff Hughes had with the former U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, Donald Tapia, in the matter of Daryl's U.S. visa, which is now back in the headlines after numerous videos rehashing the matter popped up on social media last week. Washington revoked his visa in 2019, but it was reinstated in September 2021. Well, former U.S. Ambassador Donald Tapia was asked what led to the revocation on Cliff Hughes Online this morning. Tapia says Vaz's visa was revoked because the U.S. was misled. He says a dossier provided to him suggested that Vaz had a criminal past, but he adds that investigations by several U.S. agencies could find nothing to support the claim.
Is that we started taking a look at all the dossiers and so forth that I had. The question was, I saw nothing that I had in file, in records in Jamaica against Vaz. So what I did is I called all my intel, INS, the FBI, the Drug Administration. I called everybody into a meeting in the embassy, all my officers there. And I said, I want you to research whatever files they have in Washington and all the files that we have here. And I want, within 30 days or with 45 days, I want a report of everything that they have against this minister.
Ambassador Tapia says their investigations revealed that the rhetoric suggesting Vaz had run-ins with the law was all hearsay, murmured during a PNP administration. He says he even discussed the matter during a dinner with then PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips. Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're getting reactions to Donald Tapia, the former U.S. ambassador to Jamaica's tell-all interview with Cliff Hughes this morning. We have with us political commentators Lloyd B. Smith and Dr. Nadine Smith, alongside public affairs commentator Dr. Henley Morgan. And one of the things brought up by Donald Tapia is he gave us some more information as to what led to the revocation of the Cabinet Minister Daryl Vaz's visa and what he did to have it reinstated. And essentially what he's suggesting was the revocation was based solely on what he would essentially call campaign gossip, PNP campaign gossip, so to speak, during a PNP administration. And starting with the two veterans who've been around the block for quite a while, does that surprise you to consider something as serious as the revocation of a cabinet minister's visa essentially boiled down to hearsay?
I think it is a frightening scenario that has been unveiled here, because if at that level the U.S. State Department is going to be, putting a minister in such a position, a most embarrassing position, it's frightening, because we live in a country where innuendos and hearsay and what we call sus, it's the order of the day. And especially when it comes to politicians. We have seen already where the incident with Vaz and Dr. Campbell and how that has played out. Now we are seeing it being played out again, this time with the U.S. government. And it is frightening, because it means that person's character, person's integrity, whatever it is, can be so easily damaged, and perhaps irreparably so, just based on rumors. And I would have thought that in the case of the U.S., they would have had a greater level of due diligence and professional approach to dealing with such matters. So for me, it is very frightening. And we now have to be very, very careful, in terms of how we view these things in the future and what conclusions we draw.
And Dr. Morgan, under the circumstances, based on what Tapia suggested, he said that he inherited the situation. He just, at the start, accepted it as rote because his superiors essentially handed him a dossier until he decided to do some further digging. Then would, under the circumstances, had it just been as normal things would expect, a career diplomat who simply took up the post and not someone who is more uniquely capable of bucking the trend, so to speak, would it simply have been up to this point we might not have known that Daryl Vaz was just a victim of hearsay and essentially propaganda?
Look, either Donald Tapia is being very selective in his memory, in his recall, or he's suffering from amnesia. or some other type of ailment that comes with age, 90. The fact of the matter is that the revocation of visas was used as a tool to punish and to intimidate, and not just the one name that was mentioned. I can tell you this, that even myself, who you introduced as a public commentator, in doing this interview, will have a little bit of nervousness when I again enter.
Dr. Henley? Dr. Morgan, are you there? Oh, there. We lost Dr. Morgan. We'll try to get him back. Dr. Spence, I put the question to you as well. Under the circumstances, when we hear about someone's visa being revoked and they declare their innocence, should we take that revocation with a significant amount of grains of salt?
Yeah, we have to. And the implications of a visa being revoked are several, you know. It could indicate that in the United States playing a particular kind of diplomatic game is indicating its support for our government by denying access to political leaders, denying their access to the United States and to other countries through transit. So it has implications for stability of government. It has implications for how trade and all other relationships, banking relationships, can proceed, because people are going to see this as an insight into how the U.S. views a particular government. And it's really very, because I remember that moment. It wasn't just, oh, Daryl Vaz lost his visa.
There was significant speculation as to what led to it.
It was huge. We started hearing who else would be losing their visa and why this was happening. And there was all kinds of suppositions and conclusions about what was happening within the government. And so this cannot be taken lightly, because what it means is that within our own country, there are enough frictions and quarrels between political opponents